Tonight's true scary story is terrifying and also pretty sad because it has to do with a man who got a brain injury and afterwards developed the ability to see. But unfortunately, the things that he sees are not good. It also seems like something incredibly dark has attached itself to him. This is terrifying. Before we get started, if you could just do me a favor and ignore my hair, number one. And number two, if you could smash that like button, but only if you appreciate my work. It does help get my videos pushed out and I would greatly appreciate it. Also, don't forget to subscribe so that you can get notified next time I tell a true scary story. Tonight's submitter's name is Wayne, and it all started when Wayne was riding a dirt bike, okay? He goes off a jump on the dirt bike and he's going down the backside when another person on a bigger bike lands on top of him. After this happens, he's on the ground, laying on the ground, hurt, and another bike runs over him. Fortunately, because of this, he developed a traumatic and severe brain injury. And then after this, crazy things started happening to him. For instance, one night he was laying in bed, he couldn't fall asleep, and he was scrolling on TT. And all of a sudden, he had this feeling like someone was watching him. He's always been a very paranoid person, but this was different. He was convinced someone was in his room. He was so scared that he turned off his phone and he actually started slapping himself to try to make himself wake up. He thought that he was dreaming, or was more so hoping that he was dreaming. When he convinced himself that he was awake, he started staring at the roof, but then something makes a noise. It's on the floor by his bedroom door. He's scared to death. He's hoping that it's his brother. He quietly says, "Tyson, is that you?" No answer. At this point, he has convinced himself that it's his brother messing with him, so he sits up in bed. He looks at the door, ready to confront his brother to make him stop trying to scare him. It's not his brother. That's when he sees it. Pale white face, oval shaped, black eyes. It's crawling on all fours. He's staring at it, shocked, horrified, and then it looks at him, dead in the face. He's shaking with fear at this point, and then this thing starts crawling towards him and starts crawling on his bed. He is in flight or fight at this point. Gets up, he jumps out of bed, he runs down the stairs, and he goes into his sister's room where is their safe room where he has pew-pews. Him and his sister each grab one. They search the entire house. They can't find this thing. It's gone. But unfortunately, this would not be the last time that he sees this. A couple weeks later, he's sitting on his bed, ready to lay down. He has 2 dogs with him, and all of a sudden, his heart just drops. And after the experience that he had earlier, he knew that this was bad. All of a sudden, his dogs start barking. He starts freaking out. He wants them to quiet down. He wants this to not be true. So he's trying to get them to stop barking because he doesn't want this to be real. They won't stop. "I'm just creeping myself out," he says, until he looks down the hallway and he sees a white hand creeping across the door frame. It's coming out of the bathroom. The next thing he sees is this humongous thing sitting in his hallway. All of a sudden, this thing hops down on all fours, starts crawling towards him, and then crawls on his bed. He had one of those pocket bubbles that his Mimi had just got him. It was sitting on his nightstand. It would look something like this. When as soon as this thing got to his feet, it was like there was a dome around his bed and the thing couldn't get any further. He was so scared. He takes off out of his room. He couldn't sleep in this room for like a couple of days after this. He was so scared that he even left his phone and his belongings in that room and would not go back in that room to get it because of that situation. Now, the next encounter would be by far the worst. This happened a couple nights ago. He's laying in bed when all of a sudden he looks towards the bathroom and he sees this thing again. It's on all fours, again, crawling towards him in his room. It looked dead at him, and then it went and sat in the chair next to him at the end of his bed and just stared at him. 30 minutes go by and he is enduring this torture of this thing just sitting in this chair when all of a sudden it just dissipates into thin air. He's so terrified he cannot move. And the next night he's laying in his bed and his heart sinks again. And again, he's like, "No, please, not again. What is happening?" When all of a sudden he hears a little voice in his head say, "Someone's in your room." So at this point he has to look because it's bothering him and he's freaking out. He sits up, he scans the room, he sees nothing until he starts laying back down. This is when he sees something in the corner of his eye. It took him a couple minutes to look because he's so utterly terrified, but he finally decides to look, and when he does, he is horrified. He looks to the side and he sees this thing laying right next to him in his bed. It is right next to his face. Then this thing's head turns a 180 turn. It looks him dead in the eyes, and as he's frozen with fear, it says, "I'll be watching you." And that was just a couple nights ago, and this is what he's been dealing with. What the hell do you think is going on here? Like, this is so horrifying to have a brain injury and then all of a sudden start seeing things, but not good things, start to see terrifying things, like crawling all over your bed and like getting right in your face and spinning its head. Like, no, 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 thank you. I cannot do crawling whatsoever. So I feel so bad for him. When he was writing the story, he actually initially told me not to use his real name, and then he told me that I could tag him. So I didn't use his real name, even though I think that I probably could have, because eventually he told me that I could tag him. But I think the reason why he said that is because I ensured him that people would not call him crazy. He said that he has tried to tell this story to people before. He's tried telling people what he's experiencing, and no one believes him, and everyone is calling him crazy. So we need to support him, you guys, because I feel so bad for him. Like, clearly something is going on. He wasn't seeing these things before his brain injury, so his mother actually told him that she thinks that they triggered this. Also, I think it's important to know where he lives. So he told me that his family lives on literally in the middle of nowhere, like the definition of the middle of nowhere. They actually live on the biggest land-wise military base in the country. It's state forest at the same time, and he's surrounded by thousands of acres of state government land. And his family lives on a 100-acre ranch. So he does live in the middle of nowhere. He didn't tell me specifically like what state he lives in, but do you guys think that this could be like some type of SW, I should say flesh pedestrian, so no one gets mad at me, but do you think that this could be that and that he's seeing it? Do you think it has to do with his brain injury, or do you think maybe it has to do with where he lives and he's actually really experiencing like some type of cryptid? I cannot figure it out. I personally do think though that it does have something to do with his brain injury, and maybe after his brain injury it just made him more susceptible to the paranormal. And now, because a brain injury is trauma, right? It's traumatic, and evil entities attach themselves to trauma. That's negative energy. So maybe that is why all of this was brought on. What do you guys think? We would love to know your comments below, so please drop them below. I actually thought that the story was going to be much longer because it was like 3 different emails, but apparently maybe I talked too fast, I don't know. But sorry about the length of it. It is a little short, but it was a good one, and I think it was important to get out there, especially for him, just to get this off of his chest, you know? But with that being said, I am now going to do my shout outs, my favorite part. My first one is going to Katina Melbert 1347. Girl, you're so sweet. I know you watch a lot of my videos, and I appreciate you commenting, and your comment was so sweet on my last video. I appreciate you so much. Thank you for your support. I love you, girl. My next one is going to Hendrix Bailey 8. Girl, you're so sweet. The comment that you left on my last video was so heartwarming. How you said you binge watched all my videos on TT and then came here and you did it in like 2 days, and then you commended me on my personal story, which means the absolute world to me. Thank you for watching those videos, and thank you just for your kind words. They truly do mean so much to me, and your support means so much to me, and you binge watching my videos. Like, I love you, girl. Thank you. With that being said, my name is Kaisa, and I tell true scary stories on here. It's now going to be every 2 nights, you guys. I'm so sorry. I just don't have the time to do it every other night, but I'm gonna try to make longer form content when I do it, okay? So I love you guys so much. Hit that subscribe button if you want to get notified when I tell true scary stories, and I just need you to do 3 things for me. And what are those? I need you to keep sending me your scary stories. I need you to have a safe night. And what's the 3rd one? Say it with me. Have a spooky night. Love you guys. See you in the next one. Spooky kisses.